All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's stream. It's your lucky day as the boys have finally decided to not only allow the beauty to talk, but actually find out that I'm the brains behind this operation. So we have a college basketball show today for everybody. And the first question we're going to go ahead and start off with is, what is the biggest upset in a conference tournament? And it can't be Miami of Ohio because I think everybody really saw that one coming.
I'll jump in here real quick because it happened last night, in my opinion. Then it was Ole Miss taking down Bama.
I thought of you last night when I saw that final. I said, oh.
Yeah. I mean, Ole Miss is just on a run right now. Obviously, I mean, I still think they'd have to win the SEC tournament to get in. But, that was the biggest upset I've seen so far. There's been a couple of them, but that one just kind of, I mean, you're talking a 15 seed in the SEC making a run to the semifinals. That's pretty. I hate to inform Ole Miss fans that might tune in, but I think that run ends today when you hit Florida. But
yeah, Florida's still just
it's a good run for the team.
I feel like that might get them an edge over Auburn if they just having that win, one more win than Auburn. I feel
right. I can say real quick on the SEC. I know Rob up there is happy that Oklahoma lost last night because if Oklahoma would have beat Arkansas, that pretty much would have eliminated his Shorthorns down there in Austin.
Zay, you got one?
Yeah, I mean, I go Big Ten with UCLA taking down. Who the hell they beat yesterday? Oh, Michigan State. They beat Michigan State yesterday. I ain't really catch none of that game, but I mean, that UCLA team is decent though, so it wasn't super crazy upset probably, but nevertheless, it was an upset.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were without power last night during some of these really good games that happened, and once it came back on, we're looking at scores scrolling across the screen going, oh, shit, we missed some really good games.
Yeah, I didn't have one outside of the two that had been mentioned. Those would have been the one of the two that I would have mentioned with Ole Miss beating Alabama and then UCLA making it as far as they have in the Big Ten tournament. Out of those two, those are probably two of the best upsets so far.
Yeah, I would agree. I know some might say Clemson over North Carolina because Clemson has never really beaten North Carolina early on, especially first round of an ACC tournament. But I think that kind of just shows maybe we get those 8, possibly 9 teams in. I think Florida State deserves to be in with their play as of late. I know they're on the bubble, kind of outside looking in at this time, but I mean, we can talk about Miami of Ohio and how, they went 31-1. But UMass played them tight every game this year. I think it no less than a 5-point win Miami had each time, I believe. So I think people kind of saw that coming. But I definitely think, UCLA, Ole Miss was the biggest surprise to me, especially taking down Alabama. But again, I think that's just Nate Oates doing Nate Oates type things because I'm not an Oates fan. So let's go ahead and move on to today's action.
Real quick.
Go ahead, Sean.
Update. I forgot. I made a mistake. I misspoke a minute ago. Ole Miss doesn't get Florida today. Ole Miss gets Arkansas.
I had my phone pulled up too. I was trying to look at that.
I had my bracket flipped. I thought Vanderbilt got Arkansas, but no, it's So Ole Miss has a chance. They only lost to Arkansas by 7 earlier in the year.
Yeah, Arkansas is one of those teams they're either on or they're off. I know Acuff is playing today. He played yesterday, coming off that injury. So that's definitely a benefit, I think, to Arkansas side. But Ole Miss is on with something right now, trying to figure out, who their identity is going into March. And there's not a perfect time to figure that out would be right about now. As those brackets come out tomorrow. Mosh, you got anything?
Good morning. How's it going? Millie Grams, City League TV, post game. One takes there, SEC Shine. I think Ole Miss is actually playing very well. It was a team I wanted to actually pick to beat Alabama. I got Tennessee, winning in that realm, and I had Alabama beating Ole Miss, but I think Ole Miss is definitely a team to watch. And I even think a scarier team come tournament time. I think a lot of teams are putting on shows in these conference tournaments that we definitely need to take a closer look at for sure. Ole Miss, one of them.
Yeah, I was also really surprised Ohio State played Michigan so close yesterday. That had a potential to be a major upset too. Only hoping OSU's chances of getting in.
We're a lock.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Definitely.
We'll get to that. So let's go ahead and look at today's slate. We've got some semifinals coming up today. We've got Michigan and Wisconsin at 1. We've got Ole Miss and Arkansas at 3:30. Purdue, UCLA at 3:30. Houston and Arizona. And I don't know if y'all saw what Houston did to Kansas last night, but good gracious.
They sexualized them.
Yeah, they manhandled him. It was an abuse, if you will. UConn St. John's, which will be another banger at 6:30, for that Big East tournament. Remember the old days of the Big East tournament where it was just battle after battle after battle. It was one of my favorite conferences to watch. You got Toledo and Akron today. And then, of course, ended the night with Virginia and Duke. So I don't know if you've heard, we're down 2 players because they mention it every 7 seconds on the broadcast. So what are some of your predictions for today's games? It's a really good slate. I'm not used to having some championship games on Saturdays. I know that's new-ish. I missed Championship Sunday where the last game finished up and we rolled right into the bracket review and teams are in the locker room watching it. So still kind of a change from what we've had in the past, but a good slate of games coming up today for conference tournaments.
I don't really have much time, but I want to say and start off too as well, man. It's good to see you hosting this morning, Millie Grams, as we call you here, WTP Sports News. Shout you out. I got to get you in on this one of these Women's Wednesdays and talk even more as well. But overall, looking at the conference, I like some of the players that's having that coming out party. I know you mentioned the Houston and the Kansas walloping. Mm-hmm. I think Canat Jr. for Houston is having his coming out party, as we've been seeing throughout this latter stage of the season, but into the conference tournament. And then you got the SMU banger. I think that game, and then you got a Wisconsin team. Michigan snuck by one take Zay. They snuck by your Buckeyes. Buckeye Nation, you almost had them on 2 times this season, basketball, football, but they slipped by. But also, the Purdue team, I think, are getting stronger and stronger. Braden Smith, 16 assists. I think that'll be a great game to watch as well. But as all the games are today, I think we're in for a heck of a slate. And if you have nothing to do, sit down and watch basketball because it's already March Madness in these conference tournaments for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely a huge slate of games that could be really close the whole way through today.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited for that Big 12 final. That's just 2 teams that I feel like this could be a Final Four, Elite Eight preview. So um, like when you look at the Big East, I don't think both of those teams will be sitting there looking at as really a viable chance of being in the Final Four. So I think that's just the biggest game today. So I'm definitely gonna be keyed in on that game. That Burris kid too for Arizona, man. He can go. It's so many freshmen out here that we don't talk about because it's so deep of a class. That Burris kid is nice, man.
Yeah, my power came back on last night with about 6 minutes to go in that semifinal last night. And it was fire. Like some of the best basketball I've seen played this year within that last 6 minutes. Shots were dropping, defense was hopping. And I feel like both teams were going to be content to settle for an overtime. And the kid had an open shot and just drilled it. I mean, that last 6 minutes of that Arizona-Iowa State game was really, really good. And Iowa State is, in the past few weeks, I feel like has just been so hot and cold. They're really good. But then sometimes they just have those stretches where they're not good at all. I mean, like most teams, but to play Arizona like that was a really good game. I'm also interested. I haven't seen UCLA play much this year, so I'm definitely going to tune into that game. Obviously, Houston and Arizona will be a great game. I haven't seen Ole Miss play at all this year, so I'll probably be watching that game for sure as well. But like Moss said, I ain't got nothing but time today to sit on my butt on my couch and watch basketball all day long.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned UCLA. I've seen them and play Ohio State. I think those are two teams out of the Big Ten I think can actually, sitting in their seating, I think they could be scary. UCLA is a team that's putting everything together. 34, I can't remember his name. Watching him up close, special talent. I think his NBA draft stock is growing as well. He's a stretch big type of player. I just think these UCLA Bruins don't catch him slipping. They could get in that back door and walk in and stand out and win the Big Ten. I mean, anything can happen. It's March. Everybody's in this tournament at this point, and they're there for a reason. So definitely got my eyes on them as well.
I mean, UCLA was first four to what? Elite Eight a couple of years ago. I mean, they're not far removed from that entire process. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. I'm going to talk about my Blue Devils here too. Caden Boozer and Nick Kamenia had games of their lives last night. Watched the night before playing Florida State and going down to the wire. It was kind of tiresome in the first half yesterday. With like 12 minutes to go, it was 18-19. I'm like, good Lord, the night before neither team could miss shots. Last night, it seemed like we couldn't make a shot. And then all of a sudden, Caden Boozer and Nick Kamenia, next man up mentality is really helping a couple of our freshmen really build some confidence and get some minutes and some experience under the belt right at the right time. They're saying Pat Cunningham is coming back. I don't know. Caleb says he's coming back, but you had surgery last week, so it's really hard for me to think you're going to make it back in time for March. So it's good to see our freshmen, that next man up mentality. And you've seen that with so many late season injuries in teams this year that I think is really exciting.
What a luxury, Milligram, to have a kid like Kamenia who wasn't really in the rotation, but is a McDonald's All-American. You just throw him in. He got a stroke on him. I tell you, he got a stroke on him. Him and the kid Harris both got strokes on them. So y'all in good hands with them. Yeah, if that's y'all's next 2 men, that's up.
Yeah, and Isaiah Evans didn't really have the best game of his life last night after being going for 30-something against Florida State. Clemson really locked him down. But Dame Sarr didn't have the best game either. He ended up, I think he had 4 fouls, really just off his game last night. You got teed up for saying something. I said, dude, you speak 5 languages. Say something in one that's not English. Like, if you're going to talk your talk, go ahead. I'm here for that. But don't get in trouble for it. Talk in a different language. You got 5. Choose the one that's not English that DJ or Lee Cassell can't understand. So we've also already had some major coaching changes come up already. I'm interested to hear what your guys' take is on that. You know, once those conference losses come in, we often see some coaching changes. And there's been some, I know in the ACC, I don't know about anybody. I don't think anybody in the Big Ten has had any major changes this far. I think there's probably some that are on the SEC that are kind of like in limbo right now, I'd imagine, or you know, you get one more shot, and kind of same with the Big Ten, maybe. What are your guys' thoughts on some coaching changes that have already happened, or do you think will happen?
It's been a few. I would say real quick before I get out of here, because I'm downtown actually on my way. Shout out to one of the sponsors, KT's Good Eats as well. I'm on my way to pick it up and get in here in this food truck this afternoon throughout the day. So if you're not busy, we'll be across from Doghouse Pizza on Lockbourne Road. The address is 2040 KT's Good Eats. We got the fish, chicken, barbecue ribs. We got the sloppy knock for you, Zay. We got the egg rolls. We got so many great dishes, and we got dessert today. Definitely make sure you come out as well. But with the coaching changes, there was quite a bit I was looking at. It's still interesting. I really haven't done my full review for myself, but it's a lot of vacancies. Some positions that has been filled, and I really want to go back and look through because I think some coaches, as we just spoke on UCLA, I think they're in a position to where, you know, Cronin, this is, you know, you got to win or you go type of situation, even at UCLA. So that's one of the coaching positions that I was looking at. Is his seat hot or, you know, what's going on there? But outside of that, you know, I'm going to do some definite reviews once I'm home and set it tonight a little more.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Cincy job that opened up. Cincy is always a good basketball program, so they got to get a guy in there to get that program back stabilized. We miss Cincy basketball. When I don't root for Ohio State, I root for Cincy, so I need them to figure that thing out.
Yeah, that's the one that came to my mind, but could happen. I think, I mean, you got to look at South Carolina out of the SEC. I don't see how they can continue going down that route. Probably need to look at the two in the SEC that could pop open in my mind are South Carolina, Mississippi State. Those are the two. Chris Beard's not leaving Ole Miss. You know, because of the run in the tournament, I think saved Porter Moser at Oklahoma. If they would have been one and done in this tournament, I think Porter Moser was gone from Oklahoma. But I think he bought himself at least one more year there. On the games for today, I missed out on that one. Everybody mentioned all the main ones. I'm actually going to watch Vermont and UMBC play.
Yeah,
I like that Vermont game when they play. They're fun to watch. And UMBC, of course, was 116 seed that did beat a 1 seed. I believe they beat Virginia. It was either Virginia or Purdue.
it was Virginia, and Ryan Odom, who was the coach at UMBC at the time, is now the coach at Virginia, which is hilarious.
Better be prepared for that one if you match up again. And then I'm also gonna try to tune into the crazy mascot matchup with
I don't know about that.
Rainbow Warriors versus the Anteaters
Out in the Mountain West.
Yeah, I got to, just crazy mascots. Got to root for them.
I like that. My mom always picked her teams from the mascots.
And my wife did too, and she destroyed me in a bracket one year.
Yeah, or names of colleges she never heard. The Gonzaga, their first year, she was like, I've never heard of this one. And so she just picked them literally all the way. And I was like, who knew?
Right.
So, yeah, the South Carolina job is interesting to me because I think you expect a little bit more from Frank Martin. Mississippi State has just not been that great. As far as in the Big Ten, I think Rutgers coach, I feel like he might be on the hot seat a little bit. I know the ACC has fired BC's coach and Syracuse's coach. Jeff Capel is somehow keeping his job at Pitt. I'm not quite sure how. But I thought he was going to be gone 2 years ago, and they've already said he's going to be back here. But I agree with you on Cronin. I think that he was close to being on his way out if he didn't perform in the Big Ten tournament. But for some reason, he always just has that tournament morning kind of going for him. But the Cincinnati job, I think I agree with Zay, is you got to get somebody in there that can really get Cincinnati basketball back to where Cincinnati basketball was, and that, you know, and Bob Huggins' era that just beat you up day in and day out and get some hardcore ball going there.
Real quick in our chats, I don't know if that's Parlay Poe or not. The Sean C7G.
Yeah, that's Parlay Poe.
Okay, he says Michigan's assistant Justin Joyner got the Oregon State job.
Nice. I know Herb Sendek is keyed up for a job. I want to say, I don't remember who he was linked to, but he's got the possibility to take a fourth team to the NCAA tournament. So that's kind of interesting. You forget about Herb Sendek. I mean, he started out at State and has gone to some smaller schools, but is winning where he's been at. So that's interesting. Anything else on coaches? So this next question, should the tournament expand? Why or why not? Lots of debate on this. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Man, we got it. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Zay. I don't think it should expand. I mean, I don't know. I think you're fine with what you've got right now. The more we keep expanding these things, the more we're just going to get watered down. I mean, I'm sure there's some fan bases out there that are right there on the edge that would love to see it expand again because they know they'd be in, but I just think you're going to get watered down. I don't believe Auburn needs to be in this tournament. I don't think they're good enough to be in this tournament. Oklahoma, I don't believe needs to be in this tournament. So that's just my theory. Is I think we're fine with what we've got right now.
You know, I would like to see it expand, but I would like to see there be a round of 64 where you already got 32 teams that you know are locks to be in it. Position them in that round of 64, but on the outside of that, have another round of 64 with people who are vying to try to get those last 32 spots in that 64, the main 64. I would like to see something like that. So I guess you would have something like what? You're talking about 36 and 64. You're talking about a 100-team tournament. I would love to see something like that, where teams play to get in those last 32 spots after you already solidified it with the first 32. I would like to see something like that.
If we can't get it right with 68 teams, then what are we doing? You know, we got 68 teams, bro, that's making it. And, you know, I'm real curious with Selection Sunday tomorrow, what they do with Miami, because I'm gonna be one of them people that's upset if they leave Miami out of this tournament. You cannot tell me that one bid out of 68 teams is going to make a huge difference. Hey, you had all year to get your resume right, Playboy. It ain't our fault they beat everybody in the regular season. So one of these power teams get left at home. I'm sorry, man. You had 66 other chances to improve your resume to be inside this tournament. So I'm with 68. It's fine how it is now. Every year we're going to hear the last 4 or 5 teams that's left outside of the bubble complain and talk about oh, they should have been in, and this is the reason why. And what about these mid-major conferences that's not playing this type of schedule? And da, 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 da. I don't care. I really don't. Uh, everybody line up, and just because Miami is not in the conference that you in, but they won all their games in their regular season, shouldn't knock them, bro. It's one seed, bro. And one thing about March Madness is I don't think the Cinderella is dead. So, with that angle of it too, like, nah, 68 is cool for me.
Yeah, I think we've had trouble the past few years to field 68 teams that are worthy of being in it because of this mentality of, oh, we can only get so many mid majors in. We got to pull in, from those Power 5 teams that, like North Carolina did not deserve to be in last year, but their AD was the chair of the committee, and so they played first 4 in. Auburn, Indiana, all these teams that are in those Power 5 conferences that don't really deserve to be in, but because they're in a Power 5 conference are going to get a nod over a team like Miami of Ohio, an Akron, a Kent State, a Creighton, that has historically been in but lost in their conference tournament early. Some of those good mid-major teams that you want to see in the tournament, because those are, like Isaiah said, your Cinderella teams. Like, let them play with those Power 5 teams and see what they can do. So I would say no to an expansion personally. I just think we're having such a hard time fielding 68 right now. And I think that's too because of the way the game is going and the one and dones. It was more fun to fill a field of 64 before we even went to 68 of teams with juniors, seniors playing, because those were the teams that were going to carry you through the brackets. So that's just kind of my opinion on that.
I mean, that's spot on, and Poe said it too, and it was highlighted. We don't need an extra tournament. We already got one.
Yeah.
NIT. I mean, the schedule would have to be so. I get what you're saying, Rob, and but the schedule would have to be so altered for that to happen. You would have to eliminate a bunch of games to squeeze in another 32 team bracket before March Madness. But I mean, I think it's right. I mean, you were talking about mid-major teams. You got teams like a Stephen F. Austin who went 27-4 in the regular season and is not going to make the tournament because they lost in their conference. But you're going to put in and I'm not saying they're in, but you're going to put in a under 500 in the SEC Auburn team. That Stephen F. Austin team's 27-4 is 27-4. I'm sorry, Miami.
And you're still playing D1 ball. You're still playing D1 ball.
Right, and I mean, you can go back and look at a couple of years. Stephen F. Austin made a run in this thing and almost beat a couple of teams and almost beat another number 2 seed or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, these teams aren't bad. It's basketball. So I think you're fine with where you're at. I just kind of wish it would get to some of these records would matter more than, but they play in the SEC or they play in the ACC or so.
Yeah, and this is kind of leading us right into the next couple of questions, actually, is like, would you rather see better mid-major teams over than those lower level teams in the Power 5? And would you accept an NIT bid? We talked about this during football season. It's different to accept a bowl bid over an NIT bid because you get to play more games. You know what I mean? Like, you're still playing to win for a championship, where, in football, if you're not in the playoffs, then it is a bowl game. And so what are your thoughts on kind of those things? I would prefer to see some more mid-major teams in, the better mid-major teams in, take some of those seeds over in Indiana and Auburn and Oklahoma. Some of those lower level Power 5 teams that just because they're in a Power 5 conference automatically get the nod. Like, yeah, you're under 500 in the SEC, but your bad losses are bad losses.
See, I'm kind of backtracking when I say this. I think if you extend the tournament, you could do more play-ins. So you got the 16 and 11s. We went over this, Sean, me and Sean. You could do play-ins from 16 all the way through 10, and that'll add more teams. You know, and you could add some of them mid majors like Akron, for example. Miami of Ohio having a historical season, but nobody's talking about that. Akron is sitting there 17-1 in conference play. 26-4 on a year, or 27-4 on a year. You can't tell me they can't get in this tournament and compete with some of these teams, bro. There's no way, bro. There's no way.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think Parlay Paul is saying the reason why it is not happening is because it's all about the money and who will travel. And then these teams that we know got large backing. But I really would like to see mid majors get an opportunity over some of these lower level or lower record Power Five teams, because you already know, and I'm going to use my Texas Longhorns as an example. They're probably on the bubble, but they don't go out there game in, week out, and play hard. You get a mid-major in there, they already got a David and Goliath mentality. They going to come out there and put it all out there in the court. A team like Texas that I watched several times this year, they go out there, man, and they know that they can't beat a team, and they go out there and lay a freaking egg. And it makes no sense. If you're in Division I and you're in a Power 5 school, you should not be getting beat by 20 points, especially at your crib. I mean, it just makes no sense. So I would rather see a mid-major get in there that I know is going to be hungry, that's going to leave it all out on the court, that's going to give you some really, really competitive basketball, as opposed to a Power 5 school who knows, we ain't got the talent to beat this team, and we don't even go out there and compete.
Yeah, and I agree. It's all about the money. That's what college sports has come to these days, and who travels and who doesn't. But I definitely agree. I mean, and not only getting some more mid majors in, you're going to get those mid major players some opportunities to be seen and recruited to transfer in the portal from those Power 5 teams. I mean, look at Alex Del Orso from at Arizona, came from Campbell. How many times has the fighting schools of Campbell University been in a tournament for even somebody to say, hey, this kid has Power 5 talent. This kid has big conference level power and play. Let's get him in so he can get seen more. And again, he plays for Arizona like he's still playing for Campbell. Leaves it all out on the floor every time, and it's just a different mentality. Like you said, Brown, about leaving it all on the floor and coming into play 100% for 60, for 40 minutes, and leaving those blood, sweat, and tears on the floor to be the story. I'm going to use Nolan's Tennessee State Tigers. Like, they're going to be a tough out for somebody. Whether they start out in Dayton and go somewhere else, they're going to be a tough out for somebody, because he's got that team coached to believe they can play with anyone. And that's a lot of these mid-majors like Akron, Toledo, your Stephen F. Austin. Lehigh got back in, and they're already chanting, we want Duke, because they beat us a couple, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Like, those are the games I like to watch the most, because those are the teams and the games that just fight their way through everything, and not, they're there for it and only that. And so they're gonna surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I think when you got basketball cities too, I think this is where the difference comes with college basketball. Some people just be fans of the sport. Like, I'm waiting right now. I can't wait to see what the brackets look like tomorrow, because if I see a game in session 1 and 2 in Dayton that I want to go to, I'm probably gonna get a ticket and go down there. Just to, I never been to a March Madness game, so just to go. Probably gonna grab one of them tickets and see what's up. So, like, these basketball cities, man, anybody will show up. Anybody, not even just their respectable fan bases.
I definitely recommend getting to a March Madness game.
Yeah, for sure.
I went to Greenville, South Carolina, which is a beautiful city and a beautiful place to host a regional, playing at that center down there. It's gorgeous, and so much to do around it. But it's really great. I went to Duke, Michigan State, and I forget who played who Duke played in the first game, but the first 2 rounds there, and it was amazing. And then that same year, I ended up hopping a plane on a Friday morning from school and flew down to New Orleans to watch the Final Four. We don't talk about that outcome at all, or how I almost fought everybody on Bourbon Street that night. But I was quite scary walking down Bourbon Street by myself. But definitely get there. I mean, I'm working my contacts. If Tennessee State gets one of those first 4 in games, I'm an hour and 15 minutes. I will hold the 35-pound baby the whole game. Get me a ticket. So just in that atmosphere, it's fun.
Yeah, that UD arena too is major. I love that arena. I was hesitant when they moved to state finals for Ohio high school basketball there, but really that's an amazing arena for real.
When you think about it, you guys in Ohio right now, you have girls' state happening at Dayton, first 4, boys' state in a 7-day period. Like it's huge for Dayton and for that arena. It's always a big week.
So let me ask you this, because I'm kind of intrigued by your whole more play-in games. If you go to more, would you move it from Dayton and put it closer to like 2 schools? Like, let's say you have a California team and a Colorado team. Would you put it somewhere out near Nevada to make it better for both fan bases to get to?
You would need regional sites all across the country. You need regional sites just to make the logistics work. It wouldn't just need to be in Dayton though now.
Yeah, because I think that's what we run into sometimes in Dayton. I mean, obviously, like what was it last year? North Carolina and Texas played. Those 2 got the money in the backing to get there and fill the arena. I mentioned like Hawaii. If Hawaii's they're going to have like maybe 2 vans. I mean, it's not an easy way to get from Hawaii to Dayton, Ohio. I promise you, there's probably no direct flights.
There's probably no direct flights into Dayton anyway. You're going to have a layover.
That's true.
Unless you're Carolina or Texas and you're flying up on a team plane.
Right.
And you can fly into Dayton.
Charter, yeah. And we know Robert's all for expansion, and we know why. That's the only way Texas is going to make it. So it wouldn't be a podcast unless I bust his chops at least once.
At
least once. Yeah, at least once. Melissa Graham, you getting a little bit too comfortable with that.
I'm gonna have to send her a gift card. I'm gonna have to send her a gift card if she keeps doing
it. Be better.
Well, on in the 28th, that game gonna happen, and you know what's gonna be on the line on that game. You're gonna have to put the horns up, and I'm gonna have to wear a Notre Dame shirt or something at the job because we betting something on that game for sure.
Listen, I dish it out, but I can take it.
Oh, I know you can.
So,
would I accept an NIT bid for my team? Yes, especially if I'm a younger team.
Yes.
Like at A&M, I'm gonna use them for an example. Yeah, we have a couple seniors, but we got a couple of sophomores and stuff. Those extra runs in the NIT can do nothing but help you. Go a couple years ago, A&M barely missed the NCAA tournament with Buzz Williams, idiot. Sorry. With Buzz Williams as the coach, they barely missed it. Probably should have made it, but then they went on a run to the finals of the NIT, and the next year came back and went. I mean, they got upset in the second round, but I mean, you could see the growth of the team happening. I mean, if you're a senior-laden team, I mean, you leave it up to those players, I guess. But if you're a younger team, I'm taking an NIT bid all day long.
Yeah, that's kind of where Rob's point of expanding it matters kind of for real because once your season is over, if you don't accept, say you get a bid to the NIT, if you decline it, your season is over. Your dead period starts. Your coaches can't have contact with the players, and you can't practice. So that's one thing that I think could help a lot of the talent across the country and just for a better quality product. Just because more people will be able to get better still.
Yeah, I would if my team got a bid, I would definitely want them to take it. And even in this case this year, thinking about Texas and the fact that, they're on sort of a bubble, they can get in NIT. They're a team that really needs to get as much play in as possible. I think they got a couple of guys who are older who you want to see them play in the NCAA tournament. But realistically, how many games is Texas going to play? One? They'll probably lose in the first round. Maybe they can make a run, but I mean, 2 games probably the limit. But I would like to see them get some of those younger guys an opportunity to play in the NIT where they could win 2, 3, 4 games and get that playing experience against some other teams who are playing competitive basketball as well. So if they got a bid, I would definitely want them to take it. But for the sake of the older guys on the team, I want to see them make it to the NCAA tournament.
The other thing with the NIT is the first few rounds, at least the first round, maybe first two, or I think it's 1 or 2, are at home for the higher seed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you get an NIT game at home and you get a raucous arena. And again, I'm going to use A&M. You get that arena hopping for an NIT game. People around the country that tune into ESPN and watch that, kids that are looking to transfer are going to be like, man, look at that atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And that can do nothing but draw attention into you. Plus, it brings money in, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely kind of the difference between, bowl games and NIT bids. You have the opportunity to continue to play. It's not just one more game. And I agree. If you've got those young teams and especially if you've had injuries to some of your older guys and they're not going to play anyway, it's free practice. It's free extra basketball. And you got a chance to get some money out of it too. I do like those first and second round games kind of at home. Like SEC Sean said, that again brings money back into your campus because we all know at the bottom line, it's all about the dollar signs. But if you have that chance to elongate your season and not just come to a halt, there's no spring game practices like there is in football. You don't get 2 weeks to come back after and play a game. You're done until that 2-week summer period, and then you're done again until fall. So it's kind of a chance to play around with some things, maybe play around with some positions, play around with some minutes, play around with some plays even, you know what I mean? Put in a whole different couple sets and see what can happen for you. So I think it only helps teams in the long run, especially like you guys said, those younger teams or those Power 5 conference teams that didn't get in, shouldn't have got in, but you can build upon that. And again, turn on ESPN and that right there is your first look at some portal things, because we know that's going to go crazy too. The unofficial recruiting and scouting of some portal players.
Well, and your bigger schools that get in, this is the only example I can give, but your teams with plenty of money, your Dukes, your A&Ms, your Texas, your Ohio States. When A&M made that NIT run, the first game, they told all the students, tickets are free, come in.
Mm-hmm.
It does nothing but build a bond with your student body and that basketball team. So, obviously your littler schools that need the money more would charge, but schools, your big boys can be like, hey, come on in, tickets are free.
Yeah, but if you already, a lot of times those little schools, too, the kids want to be at the game.
Yeah.
So they're going to pay, $5, $10, $15 to come in and be loud and participate and build that environment because they want to be there because they're friends with the guys on the team. You know what I mean? Like they have classes together. So that really kind of helps as well.
Yeah, that and the fact that if you're Stephen F. Austin and you get a home game because you're a high seed and you're taking on a Texas in the first round of the NIT, those kids are going to go bananas hoping to beat Texas, especially an in-state game like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't matter. I mean, if it was A&M, Houston, it doesn't any bigger school than Stephen F. Austin. Those kids are going to go electric if it's at home for. They'll be calling mama and daddy. I need an extra $20 this week, please.
Yep.
So, you know, that's one of those.
Well, gentlemen, that's all I brought to the show today. That's all you get from me. So anybody have anything else to add for the good of the cause?
I will run through to update. I know Post and them aren't on right now, but I'll go ahead and update our bracket, Rob. The leader out of the Big Ten Conference is tied between Post Game and Doug. They're both 9-5. Out of the ACC, the leader of that conference is Moss at 11-2. The Big 12, I am the leader at 12-2. And as expected, the SEC, because there's so much like mid-level packed talent between like 12 different teams, is the worst conference for everybody. The best record is 7-5, and that's Post, Doug, and you. Overall, Doug is the leader at 35-18.
35-18. Wow.
You, Post, and Moss are 34-19. And again, this will be the last bracket thing I ever put together because I'm in last place at 33-20. So Zay, you're probably gonna lose when we do our, you know. But no,
You still got time though.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna at least tie Moss. He had BYU, I think, winning or Texas winning the SEC. So I'm at least gonna tie Moss. So I won't be in last by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we sit with our challenge right now.
Just watching all these conference championship games and the Final Four and some of these conferences, it makes me think that maybe if all of the number one seeds in all of these conferences win this conference championship, will that be a prelude to what's going to happen in this NCAA tournament? Can all of those number one seeds make a run if Florida gets that last seed and they all meet in the Final Four, all one seeds? I think that's happened a few times in the last maybe 20 years, but not. It happens less than it does happen, that's for sure. So I wanted to see if we going to see a preview of that happening this year. So I'm going to be watching that closely to see if they all make it, of course, and win it. And then if they all make it in their big tournament to make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that can happen. If Houston can play how it's been playing the past couple of weeks, they're a number 2 seed that I'd keep an eye on for sure. But I think right now the number ones they got it right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna not answer this question right now because if I host Tuesday for our basketball, whatever we're doing Tuesday, we'll sort that out later. But if I host, we're gonna do a little like love it or leave it. But it's not just going to be college basketball. There's going to be one love it or leave it from all 5 or all 4 majors. You know, basketball, baseball, hockey, and which one am I forgetting? The NFL. There's going to be at least one from each one of those. But I'm not going to tell you what questions they are yet. I'll send them out before we do it to give y'all some time to research because I know not as many people follow hockey as I do.
Man, I got a feeling people about to get popped, bro.
Huh?
I got a feeling I got a feeling some of these higher ranked teams that we got faith in, I got a feeling they about to get popped.
They don't
You,
call it
you talking
madness
number
for no
one?
reason.
You talking number one seeds, or you talking maybe top three seed?
Top 2, 3 seeds. I got a feeling some of these dudes is gonna get popped. Cause when I'm looking around the country, bruh, and I'm identifying dudes like A Cuff, and then you got the band stuff. You just got dudes that can go off any given night, bro. Somebody gonna get got.
Yep.
AJ just doesn't have any help.
Man, listen, I ain't gonna lie. When Richie first went down, it looked it like that. He got help though. He got help. They been playing way more scrappier defense. As long as he can get you a 30 piece, that other guard out that's out there with him, right? He get off sometimes. You know what I mean? But it be spread. It got to be spread it around. That's all. He just got to play a little AI ish. You know.
That's what it is right there. Is you need Wright to go off before Demanza so that it can take some pressure off, and they have to guard him better. You know. But A-Cuff, yeah, you're right. You're right with those two. A-Cuff can go off anytime he wants to carry you. That kid, electric.
That's why it's the best time of year because anything can happen.
Again,
Yeah.
if it was normalcy, it wouldn't be called March Madness. It'd be called Mundane March.
You been sitting on that one?
No, I actually just popped into my head. I was trying to think of a good word. I was going to use mediocre, but I thought I'd try to show a little bit of intelligence since you are the brains behind this today. And
Brains and beauty. Brains and beauty.
Yeah, well, that's not hard with this group. But yeah, so that's why it's one of the best. It's the best tournament. I mean, to me in the world. I mean, there for a while you could always pencil in your number ones. You can't just pencil number ones no more. That's been shattered. I mean, you can, but you just never know.
Yep. Well,
You know, you ain't been able. You ain't.
You breaking up, Zay?
Go ahead, man.
I was just going to say,
ahead, man.
we're 4 minutes away from our first tip of the day with UMBC in Vermont. So,
yep. Real quick, you see the hat. I know, Zay. You say you need to get into follow a little more. Your Columbus Blue Jackets are 1 point out of the playoffs right now. So
that's
keep
good.
an eye. They're making a push. They're 1 point behind Boston right now, and they play Philadelphia, who's 4 points behind them today. Big win if they can get it. So, get behind them. They're trust me, they're already sending me emails. Well, reserve your Stanley Cup playoff tickets. Nah, we a little far out right now still. So, because they did this last year, they got close and then they fell apart at the end and missed out. But, if you're in Columbus, support your Blue Jackets. They're a fun team to watch. And if you ever been to a hockey game live, go to one. You'll be entertained. I promise. Columbus Blue Jackets, if you'd like to sponsor the show, please reach out and let us know. We'll be happy to.
Yeah, go ahead and shout yourselves out because I don't know all of that by heart. I know it's scrolling at the bottom.
Oh yeah, I mean, we got the channels everywhere. I mean, we got WTP for life with Robert up there. We got One Take Zaya down here. I don't know, Zay got some crazy stuff. Sometimes he go off on tangents, but he's a great follow for sure. I'm SEC Sean. You can find me here. Mostly random stuff, a lot of A&M sports, a lot of NASCAR content. Got Level Up Sports 10. Does a lot of conversations with people. You got an athlete, you want to get a little spotlight, especially during this month. If it's a female athlete, we're doing Women's Wednesdays with Moz. We got Postgame, who was tied up today. Postgame with a Postgame 86 podcast. We got Parlay Poe. He's got some stuff. He hasn't really hit us much, but he's always in the comments with us. Other than that, we do have our webpage. You want to mention that, Robert?
Yeah, if you want to check us out in written form, go check us out at WTPSportsDudes.com. We got blogs, we got questions, we got bios, we got everything you want at WTPSportsDudes.com. Go check us out. Our webpage is popping.
We also are on Patreon. You can check us out there. We have memberships that you can get, which will get you exclusive content, one-on-one conversations, things like that. You can get from being a paid member. We're going to have some giveaways coming up at some point with different items and merchandise we'll come up with for paid members only, of course. We're also, if you enjoy the content but you can't jump on and watch the stream, these will also all be posted on Spotify under WTP Sports Dudes 2026. And all of the episodes will be put on podcast there. So you want to drive around and listen to some of your best favorite sports talk, throw it on, give us a listen, hit that like when you hit it too. Hit the like and subscribe to all the channels scrolling too, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for letting me take over this morning. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. So
We do.
we're ready to tip off the day.
For sure.
Yeah, you better
I'll be
at
back.
this than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah, you did a great job first time.
Well, thank you.
I'm gonna be back about 4:30, setting the weekend preview for the racing weekend.
All right, cool. All right, y'all have a good one. We out.
Have a good one.
Oh, and